Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the King of the Road tournament live on NASCAR Heat 5 on the PlayStation 4 console. We're rocking and rolling for a 16-lap race at the Indy Roval. You just saw it a moment ago. They were side by side, battling for the lead as they came across the start-finish line to complete lap 1. Solzano started in second, takes the race lead away from the pole sitter BBS Brennan. Ayrton James in the 48 car right behind both of these drivers in the third position. And remember, he won the NOSSCAR Brickyard 160 for the NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series earlier this year here at the Indy Roval. Early in this race, couple of penalties for cutting the chicane. NASCAR Oof and Mucka, the 6 and the 2, they both came to a dead stop a moment ago for a 5-second penalty, and that's why they are both far behind this top 3 battle. And we just saw Ayrton James in the 48 take the second position away from BBS Brennan in the 51. Brennan comes into this race third in the standings, 5 points above the cut line.
Penalty, BBS.
And we're getting a report the pole sitter has a penalty, and he came to a dead stop there for a moment. He's still running in the third position, but now he's dropped behind the battle for the lead, and that leaves Ayrton in the 48 to battle with Solzano for the race lead. I'm NOSSCAR CEO and founder Tyler McMurder, alongside former NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series race winner Cameron Norton, bringing you live flag-to-flag coverage of the King of the Road Round 2 Group B action at the Indy Roval. Thanks a bunch, Cameron, for joining us.
Thank you for letting me be here, man. It's been an awesome round to be up here in the booth watching this. Starting to get used to this booth thing. It's pretty fun up here. Just let me keep coming here. It's awesome.
It is pretty fun. I'm sitting here having a coffee in my NOSSCAR mug. Came in just yesterday, and it looks amazing, I'll tell you. I have a picture of it on my Timac 11 Facebook page. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you want one, give me a message. And we're watching the Indy Roval event here for the Group B drivers in round 2. Top 4 in the final standings advance to the finals. Coming into this race, Solzano in the 14 has 47 points, as does NASCAR Oof in the number 6. They're tied at the top of the standings. Very safe to advance based on points. And then just behind them, it's Ayrton James and BBS Brennan. 38 points for Brennan, 37 for Ayrton James. They're third and fourth in the point standings. Mucka 2 points behind Ayrton coming into this, and a penalty for Ayrton James. Came to a dead stop there for a 5-second penalty, and that's a tough section of the racetrack. Honestly, folks, it's a very tough road course. A lot of different penalty zones on this racetrack ever since they reconfigured it and added an update to this game. Since the Winter Heat Series was featured here at this track, they added penalty zones to make sure drivers could not cut the track and use that to their advantage. Ayrton lost some ground to the top 2. He still scored, I believe, in the the second position as they run. Actually, no, it is the third position. BBS Brennan in the 51. The pole sitter was able to scoot on by. And Cameron, it might be a battle of survival. Might be coming down to who makes the least amount of mistakes and gets the least amount of corner-cutting penalties.
Yeah, as the 14 overdrove that turn a little bit there, and he had to heavily get on the brakes there just to not get a penalty. Great job by him. Yeah, all these drivers, it's all about survival here, and you just got to be on your A game here. It's a very, very tough racetrack. It's brand new. It's been hard to get around here for me personally. We've been here for the Platinum Cup Series recently, and it's been trouble for me. So these guys are much better here, and it's going to be a great show to see what we got on our hands here. And Solzano's going down the front straightaway.
We just saw NASCAR Oof in the number 6 Ford Mustang come to a stop for another penalty. It looked like he was going to drive into the back of the number 2 and elected to drive to the inside to take a penalty instead of causing himself and Mucka FRR damage to their race cars. Very tricky road course. There was only 3 drivers, I believe, in the Group A race at the Indy Roval last night that got through this race without getting any track penalties, and that was Max Boost, JCR Clashin, and yours truly. And it's not an easy task, folks, like you mentioned, Bowman. It's very difficult, this track, and it's hit or miss with me as a driver. For the NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series race, I got so many track penalties in Stage 1, but then I was able to rally back for a third place finish. So it's very unforgiving and it's very unpredictable, the Indy Roval. Some of the very best struggle when they come here, and then some of the very best excel when they come here as well.
It sure is. Some of the best that are in here, they are really good at what they're doing here, and it's going to take me a while to get this track down for I can really be good here. I'm not really known for my road course racing, and I was very unfortunate to be in this series, and unfortunately it surprised everybody that I was really good and was running top 5, and just it wasn't enough. Next year I can't wait to be back here, and we're going to grind and get at it, but it just takes a lot of skill for this Indy Roval. You got to be on your A game. Penalties are handed. It's very, very tough. You just got to do what you can do to not overdrive the corner. It's very hard to be on these brakes. I don't know if you would agree with me, but these brakes go through a lot here at this Indy Roval.
They really do, but it's mostly because there's not too much elevation change at this racetrack, so you can really drive it into a lot of these turns and hit your marks more accurately and smoother, and you can just use the brakes and tires up more by getting more speed out of it. Just the corners here at the Indy Roval are a little bit easier and less bumpy than most of the other road courses that the Cup cars go to on the schedule. And right now we see Ayrton James in the 48 closing in on the 51 of BBS Brennan. That's the closest battle on the racetrack right now. It's a battle for second and third, but right now they're still separated by about a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds at this point, but the 48 is closing. And we can also tell you that NASCAR just took the fourth place position away from Mucka FRR. Front Row Racing CEO Mucka FRR in the 2. And let's throw it down to our in-race reporter, the driver of the number 48, two-time NOSSCAR champion, Ayrton James. Ayrton, how's the 48 feel? And you're up to third, and you're catching the 51.
Yeah, I'm catching a little bit. She's pretty snappy. It's always like that here. And braking hard can get a little tricky, downshifting at the right time. So I've overdriven it a little bit. Basically everybody except the 14 car, who's long gone, seems to be getting their fair share of penalties. So yeah, it's going to be an adventurous race, short little sprint race. So we'll see who can manage it the best.
What would you say is the most difficult part about the Indy Roval, in your opinion?
Putting up with the penalties is probably the most frustrating part, but there are a couple sections. Probably the toughest part for me is either that little sort of S section after the backstretch, or the second to last corner. You can really catch you off guard.
With a penalty. He's just now getting going.
That's good for us in second and third.
Thanks a bunch, Ayrton. We'll let you get back to it. Sorry about the interruption there, and good luck to you.
Appreciate it. No problem.
And Solzano, the race leader, got a penalty a moment ago and had to come to a stop for 5 seconds. That allowed the field to close back in just a little bit. But Solzano has really opened it up over the rest of the field, running second on back. See if we can find him. There's BBS Brennan in the 51. And see if we can find Solzano. Solzano hits the start-finish line now. BBS Brennan still coming through the last couple of turns with the 48 gaining on him. So if all hold station now, unless something drastic and major, a catastrophe happens to Solzano in the 14, he's going to park in a victory lane here at the Indy Roval. And Cameron, we're seeing a lot of the Winter Heat Series drivers that were in that Indy Roval race really show that they belonged in that race, because when they have all come here to this track here for the King of the Road tournament, they've all pretty much parked it in the top 3 or 4.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. These guys are the best of the best, and they're showing it, and they're doing a really good job. And there's some favorites that are going into the finals, like you. You got the last chance qualifier, and I'm gonna be rooting for you, but I think these guys got what it takes to, be a good show for the final race.
Couldn't agree more. Solzano looks like he's kind of taking it easy at this point. There's no need for Solzano to push too hard right now. He's got a very large lead over the drivers running second and third, and they're busy battling amongst each other for that second and third place position. There you see BBS Brennan. He's actually opened it back up a little bit over Ayrton in the 48. Not by much, but just a little bit. And another penalty, I believe, there, yeah, to Mucka FRR, driver of the number 2, and that was out of the chicane over there. Turns 4 and 5, and it's a penalty zone track, Cameron, and if these drivers overdrive one of these turns, get loose or out of shape, coming up to one of these turns, and the car just kind of goes for a slide and oversteers, and you accidentally cut one of these turns, the game don't care. It doesn't know that you made an error, and it thinks you're trying to cut the track, so it'll bring that car to a dead stop for 5 seconds, and that really costs you more time than just that, because all the time it takes to get the car back up to speed as well. And if you get a penalty, a stop penalty over at the turn 4 and 5 chicane, that's a long straightaway there that these cars are supposed to be getting right up to speed and going all the way up to 4th gear on. So if you get a 5-second stop penalty over on that straightaway, it's definitely costing you more, about like 11 to 12 seconds of time instead.
No doubt about it. Yeah, these penalties can hurt you big time, and Salzano's done a pretty good job managing his penalty that he had. And if you're a driver that's got 2 or more penalties, you're going to really be pushing to gain what you had lost, and it's really tough to do that here at this racetrack.
And we have a pass for the 2nd place position. It actually looked like BBS Brennan let the 48 car go. Let's throw it down to the M-Race reporter, Ayrton James, to ask him, Ayrton, what did it look like he did there? It kind of looked like from up here he let you go.
Yeah, that's I don't really know what it was. He kind of cut the hard right-hander back into the infield a little bit, but he didn't get a penalty or anything, so I don't know if he felt guilty or what. But yeah, he kind of just let me sneak on by to them.
He comes into this race 1 point above you, and he comes into this race 3 points above Mucka. You come in 2 above. Do you think that has something to do with it? He knows that he's safe, so he's not pushing hard?
That could be it, yeah. No point in racing if you've already made it.
How's the 48 car feeling? Is the leader getting closer to you or further?
As a matter of fact, he is getting further. He's got his head down and he's pulling away.
All right, we'll let you get back to it. Best of luck to you.
Appreciate it.
That's Ayrton James, 2-time NOSSCAR champ, Brickyard 160 race winner here at the Indy Roval for the NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series earlier this year on Heat 5. Another stop penalty, this time for NASCAR, Oof, this time over at turn 1. It's right near the pit road exit. You will get one there if you cut that exit road. It looks deceiving, folks, because if you go to use that pit road exit road in this game, it looks like it's what you're supposed to do if you're coming off pit road. You'll be given a penalty, and your car will stop for 5 seconds. There's Mucka FRR in the 2. He wasn't quite close enough to capitalize on the 6 car, making a mistake. So he's going to have to just keep on soldiering on. Mucka right now riding in the 5th position. As of now, would not advance to the finals, but would have a shot tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the last chance qualifier at the Charlotte Roval. Race leader Salzano put a lap on Mucka in the 2. And honestly, Cameron, I think that this track right here is the wild card race for round 2 for these drivers. A lot of them drivers maybe pointed at Sonoma to be that track, but I think that because of all the penalty zones here at the Indy Roval, I feel like it's the wild card race here in round 2.
I agree with you 100%. It's the wild card, and some of these drivers are really good here, some of these drivers aren't, and they try to capitalize as best they can, and it's throwing a good show so far, and I'm enjoying it 100% up here.
And as I mentioned, a lot of the Winter Heat Series drivers that were in the Indy Roval event for that series, a lot of the Pro Leaguers, ex-Pro Leaguers, showcase top 24 drivers, they're really excelling and showing off their talents that they also brought to that Winter Heat Series race at the Indy Roval. They're bringing it here again to the Indy Roval for the King of the Road tournament. Many of them picking up podium finishes that were also in that Winter Heat Series race. Max Boost, of course, won this race last night for round 2 Group A drivers. JCR Clashin finished in 2nd. Yours truly, Timac 11, finished in 3rd. We were all a part of that Winter Heat Series race at the Indy Roval. Guess who else was? Salzano in that number 14 picked up a top 5 finish in that event. He leads the Group B race here at the Indy Roval for the round 2 King of the Road action, and he's locked in to the finals if he were to finish in the top 4 in this race. I'm pretty sure no matter where he finishes, Cameron, he's locked in, and rightfully so. Arguably the strongest driver and most successful driver here for Group B in round 2.
No doubt about it. He's been putting on a clinic here. He's starting to catch Jesse Carlson in that 6 car to put him a lap down, and Jesse's been struggling pretty good here. Usually he's really good here, and tonight's just not his night. And Salzano, one of the guys that you said that was in that Winter Heat series, he's proven his talents, and I like this guy. Oh, Jesse Carlson with another penalty.
Yes, sir, and that's going to cost him. Yes, it is. Salzano goes on by. That was over in turn 1 again. It's very easy to get a penalty there because when you slam the brakes for these cars and try to get it wound up and turning, especially once the tires get more and more worn, sometimes it turns a little more and responds a little more than you expect. And before you know it, you're oversteering and cutting the corner. And it looks like Jesse has done that now 2 times within the last 3 laps over in turn 1, and that is what has ultimately put him 1 lap down here at the Indy Roval. We'll throw it down to our in-race reporter, Ayrton James, the driver of the number 48 Ally Chevy Camaro, to find out how many laps to go here at the Indy Roval.
Leader will be 3 to go at the line this time.
Oh, man. So the laps are clicking down here, Cameron. 14 of Salzano coming up to 3 laps to go. Oh, and trouble for Salzano.
Oh,
he goes off the track.
This is going to be huge.
He's got a penalty as well. You're right. Had to come to a stop for 5 seconds, and they release him and let him go again. But nobody was close enough to capitalize on Salzano's big error there. BBS Brennan still going through the S's in 2nd place. Salzano's got this thing well in hand.
2 to go.
What it did, though, is it gave Jesse Carlson his lap back there in the number 6 Ford Mustang. Remember, folks, no cautions, though, so really it doesn't matter. All that matters is the running order, the finishing order at the end of this one. As they all hold station, Cameron, Salzano is going to advance, as is BBS Brennan, as is Ayrton James. So is NASCAR Heat in the 6.
His car is starting to, it's either loose or it's just hard on his braking, and it's just snapping him loose and hitting the wall.
He's a road course expert, NASCAR Oof is, without a doubt. Arguably the most talented road course ringer in NOSSCAR may be Ayrton James, the only driver to challenge him for that. In fact, it's a toss-up between those two. And honestly, when it comes to the Indy Roval, it's just not one of the stronger road courses for NASCAR Oof, so it was key for him to get as many points as he could earlier tonight at Sonoma and at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And the white flag has been shown. 1 more lap for Salzano in that number 14 Ford Mustang. He's still right there on the back bumper of the number 6 car, Cameron.
Yeah, if I'm Salzano, I wouldn't really push the issue here. Got a huge lead. You're on the white flag, and you know, in your mind, you got this in your hand, and you don't really want to make a pass. Ooh, this is gonna kind of a little bit of time is gonna be lost there with that move that he tried to make. With Jesse Carlson being loose, you don't really want to take the risk of passing and you know getting caught up in a wreck or something.
Exactly.
The penalty.
Oh, contact was made there. I think that Oof slowed down a little bit sooner than what Salzano was. Right, Salzano was expecting.
Ooh, he's loose. This is why I wouldn't be behind the leader or be behind the lap car like this, because it's going to cost you time and it's going to get you in trouble.
And I believe Ayrton has taken the 2nd place position away from BBS Brennan as we continue to work the final lap here.
Salzano passes the 6 car here and coming up to the final turns here.
It'll be white flag this time, guys. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's completely okay. I apologize to the viewers at home. White flag has been shown to these drivers. Coming out of the final turn, the 6 car found the outside wall just a little bit there. He's going to soldier on and keep going with a little bit of damage, but he's going to hold on to that 4th place position for now. One final lap around The Indy Roval for Solzano. We can mention to you that Ayrton James has taken over the second place position from BBS Brennan, the pole sitter, in the 51.
Down the back straightaway they come, or as I should say, Salzano. He's put on a great race tonight, Tyler, and he's done what he's needed to do to, you know, make sure he's good for that final 4 spot. And I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna have to watch out for him on that final race, and it's gonna be interesting to see if he can pull it off.
Finished second earlier tonight at Sonoma, finished first and won the race earlier tonight at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. He's going to do it again and win the Indy Roval. A couple more turns for him. Solzano, I knew he was going to be one of the heavy hitters, one of the favorites coming into this tournament, one of the very, very best sim racers and road course ringers on the NASCAR Heat games. He was arguably the most excited and enthusiastic driver entered into this tournament. And Solzano is going to win here at the Indy Roval. He wins the Round 2 Group B race at the Indy Roval and punches his ticket into the finals tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be aired live here on the NOSSCAR Series Racing YouTube channel. And rounding the last couple of turns here for the final time, Ayrton James in the number 48 Chevy Camaro did everything he needed to do in this last couple of races, rebounded from a rough start to round 2 at Sonoma Raceway earlier tonight.
Got a battle, BBS and Mucka here. This might help Mucka get him in.
And he finishes,
he can set up a pass.
And Ayrton James is going to finish in second. Mucka is 1 lap down. This is not a battle for position. The 51 of BBS Brennan is going to come around through the final turns for the final time and finish in the 3rd place position. NASCAR Oof is going to finish 4th. Mucka FRR rounds out the field in the 5th place position. What a race, what a finish. Solzano, from pretty much from start to finish, dominated here at the Indy Roval. We saw BBS Brennan, the pole sitter, jump out and lead the first couple of laps, but once Solzano got around him, it seemed like the 51 made an error or two trying to get back to him, and that allowed Solzano to drive away. It seemed like a bit of an attrition survival style race, Cameron, with the penalties out there.
No doubt about it. Solzano did a really good job rebounding from that penalty. Luckily enough, there was no one behind him to put pressure on him, and he did a great job tonight, and great job to him for advancing on for tomorrow's final race. Tyler, I got a question for you. What do you got for the last chance qualifier? What strategies are you going to have to do for tomorrow?
Well, I'm in the show. Top 4 in the final standings from Group A advance. We had a 3-way tie yesterday for Group A for second. 3 drivers, all 3 the same finishes. We have the top 4 from both groups advancing to the finals. Everyone else enters the last chance qualifier tomorrow night. And honestly, Charlotte Roval is my worst road course, so I don't expect to get far, but I've had a lot of fun being a part of all of this. Congratulations once again to Solzano for winning here at the Indy Roval. Ran the quickest lap of the race as well. Let's quickly throw it down to our in-race reporter, Ayrton James, the driver of the number 48 Ally Chevy Camaro. Ayrton, you did everything you needed to do, buddy. You're advancing to the finals in that number 48 Chevy Camaro. I'll see you there, and there will be 10 of us in total. You don't need to worry about that last chance qualifier anymore. What's going through your mind? How you feeling?
I mean, obviously I'm stoked to make it in on points, not have to worry about the qualifier, but tonight it was just too much good enough. I was hoping, especially the Indy Roval, that maybe I could be up there for the win, but I didn't need it, so that was the bright side. But hopefully tomorrow I can get an extra gear in this 48 car and just maybe be up in that top 5 at least for the final.
You finished second here at the Indy Roval. You qualified third, I believe it was. What was the strategy coming into this one, and what was the game plan? Excuse me, not the game plan. What was your strategy coming into this one, and what were your expectations here at the Indy Roval? How quick did you think you'd be?
Yeah, I qualified third, and that was right around where I expected. I've never been too great at qualifying. And it was just try to avoid the penalties, because I knew if I could avoid that, then I could be at least up there on pace. But I was just early on, I just had way too many penalties. But regardless, that 14 car was a second and a half faster than basically anybody all race. So even if I avoided the penalties, probably still would have got second, which I'm happy about for sure. But yeah, it was definitely a survivalist race.
No doubt about it. Congratulations on advancing to the finals. We'll let you go and talk the race over with your crew chief and your team.
Appreciate it.
That was Ayrton James, two-time NOSSCAR champion. Cameron, final thoughts from the Indy Roval event here tonight.
It was a great show. As you pointed out, last chance qualifiers tomorrow night, and it should be a good one. Sucks me and this 88 crew didn't do what we needed to do, but we're going to cheer on our teammates, and that final race, we're going to make sure that the Hendrick Motorsports team does a great job, and we'll make sure we try to bring it home.
Good stuff, good stuff. A lot of drivers entered into the last chance qualifier at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Don't miss it, folks. The top 2 finishers advance to the finals, and we'll see you all there. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. We will crown a King of the Road, 2021 NOSSCAR King of the Road, right here on NASCAR Heat 5. Congratulations to Solzano 14. We'll see him in the finals tomorrow night when he takes on the likes of Max Boost, JCR Clashin, Baronate, and others. Congratulations to all these drivers, and thank you to the 53-plus participants in this year's inaugural, first ever King of the Road tournament. Thank you to all the drivers and friends of mine that have been popping into the broadcast booth throughout the rounds, round 1 and round 2, Group A, Group B, Group C, and helping me broadcast and put together all of these races, including our in-race reporters as well. And that's going to do it, folks. Round 2, Group B action is in history books. 4 drivers advanced, and we will see you tomorrow night right back here on the NOSSCAR Series Racing YouTube channel. Meet us here, folks. Good night, everybody, and stay fast.